Okay, in this section 1-8, we're looking at the topic of combinations of functions. And so just like how you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide regular numbers, you can also add, subtract, multiply, and divide functions together to create a new function. So for example, let's consider these two functions. F of x equals 2x minus 3, g of x equals x squared plus 1. So if I wanted to combine those together using those arithmetic operations, if I wanted to add f of x and g of x together, then I would just take their definitions, add them together, and simplify it down, right? So take this, combine it, simplify it together, and then that's a new function. That's the sum of these two. Likewise, I can take the functions, subtract them off, and simplify that, and then that would be the difference of the two functions. I could multiply them together, so multiply everything out through the distributive property here, and then that results in this function. So that's the product. And then of course if I take the two functions and divide them, then I would come up with the quotient of the two functions. And notice there's a restriction on the domain here. X cannot be plus or minus 1. Why not? Because if you plug that in there, you're dividing by 0. We must exclude that from the domain. We've talked about that. All right. Now, here's what the notation looks like. So if I were to use this notation, f plus g of x, that's defined to be f of x plus g of x, right? And so likewise here, if I did f minus g of x, that means f of x minus g of x. If I have f of g, f g of x, that's f of x times g of x, and then f over g of x, then that means f of x over g of x. So when you see these, this is what it's defined to be. All right? Let's practice some of them. Okay, first one that we want to look at is example 1. We are given two functions. We're given f and we're given g. Okay, so both of those are in terms of x, and the values expressed here. So the definition of the function is given to us. All right, so here's what we want to do. We want to find f plus g of x and then evaluate the sum when x is equal to 2. So we want to add these two functions together, find the new function, and then evaluate the new function when x is equal to 2. All right, so let's write it out, see what we come up with. We want to find f plus g of x. All right, so by definition, that's going to be f of x, which is 2x plus 1 plus g of x, which is x squared plus 2x minus 1. All right, so from here I need to simplify that, and then I'll come up with the sum of the two functions. And so looks like x squared will come first. Two x plus 2x, I can put my x's together, get plus 4x. And 1 minus 1 will disappear, and so this is the new function. So now what I want to do is I want to evaluate this new function at 2. So I want to evaluate f plus g of x. Whoops, not of x. I want to evaluate it at 2. And so in the new function, anywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a 2 in its place. And so that's going to be 2 squared plus 4 times 2. So that'd be 4 plus 8, and then that evaluates out to 12. Okay, the next one that we're going to be looking at, we're trying to find the difference between two functions. So once again, I have f and g defined for us in terms of x. And our task is to find f minus g of x. So again, we can write it out here. All right, so f minus g of x equals Okay, so remember, that's defined to be f of x minus g of x. So that's going to be f of x, which is 2x plus 1. And then that's going to be minus g of x, which is x squared plus 2x minus 1. And so the first thing we'll do is simplify this down and see what the new function becomes. And so x squared, this is the only x squared term, that's going to be negative x squared. And remember, really what I probably should do is go through, and before I just start trying to put that together, I should probably distribute that minus. Might be better. So we'll go 2x plus 1 minus x squared minus 2x plus 1, so that we don't have to think too closely about what our signs are there would probably be better. So I've got negative x squared, right? 2x minus 2x, that's gone. And then 1 plus 1 makes 2. And so there's the new function, which is the difference of f and g. Okay, so now we need to evaluate this new function at 2. So I want to find f minus g of 2. So again, I'll plug a 2 into x everywhere I see it. It's going to be negative 2 squared plus 2. And so 2 squared is 4, so negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Okay, there is one more we want to take a look at here, and that's one where we are taking the product. And so on this one, I want to find f times g of x. And so again, that's defined to be f of x, which is x squared, times g of x, which is x minus 3. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is simplify that to see what the new function is. So remember, distributive property, number on the outside multiplies by everything on the inside. X squared times x, that'll be x to the third power. And x times negative 3x squared. And so there's my new function. Now it's asking me to find, evaluate that for when x is 4. So I've got f times g of 4. And so anywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug a 4 in its place. I've got 4 to the third power minus 3 times 4 squared. And so when we evaluate all of that out, then you can plug that straight into the calculator if you want to. 4 times 4 is, let's see what it is. Just go all together at once. And let's see, is there a way to change this? I don't even need Desmos calculator for this. I can just go 4 times 4 times 4 minus 3 times 4 times 4. Then we can see that that's going to be 16 for my answer. Alright, so there you go. Okay, you'll have a quiz waiting for you in Canvas, and I'll see you in class.